Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome to episode 2, Light Leaders Ascension School. Today we are talking all about how to work with your spirit guides and how to build a relationship with them. Working with and building a relationship with my spirit guides has changed my life in indescribable ways. Honestly, for me, it is such a support system that I have that I can work with that supports my life. In literally every single area of my life, I am working with my spirit guides. It's a relationship that I prioritize, and it's on the same level as my husband, as my closest friends, as my family. It's a relationship that I treasure, I nurture, and I work with every single day. And there are different levels, right? So having that sort of close relationship with your spirit guides, well, we don't get to that right away. We begin by creating the relationship, beginning to work with them before trust is created, before surrender is created. It is a journey, and that's what we're going to be covering today, how you can begin working with your spirit guides in all areas of your life so that they can support you. We're going to be covering the different types of spirit guides and how to actually allow them to guide you in your life. I've been working with my spirit guides for a very long time, and I have so many different stories about how they've shown up and supported me. And the first thing I want to say to you is, if you haven't yet, ask your spirit guides for a sign, right? And I know that might seem even a little bit basic or whatever, but so often people are looking for tangible. When we have our spiritual team, we're looking for something tangible because we want to be surrendered. We want to be surrendered to the divine synchronicities, divine guidance. But surrender comes with trust. And we build trust through this validation or tangible experiences often. So I always recommend asking for a sign. And it's a beautiful little way for us to get that divine confirmation, right? So I'll tell you a story. When I first started working with my spirit guides, I was a teenager, and I actually remember being on the school bus and I was reading a book about spirit guides, and back of the school bus, just hanging out, reading my book, and the book said, ask your guides for a sign. And I thought, okay, sure, I'm sitting on the bus, let me ask my guides for a sign. So I closed my eyes and I'm kind of like, shit, I hope they don't crash the bus or something, because what kind of sign are they going to give me? Like, I'm on a bus. Okay. Close my eyes. I'm like, all right, spirit guides, if you're there, show me a sign. My eyes, I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? And in that moment, I looked out the window and there was this giant billboard we were passing, and the billboard said, "This is a sign. Buy a sign." And I went, oh my God, okay, that's a little bit on the nose. And that was the first time that I received a huge, massive sign, and I was like, wow, okay, interesting, a bit on the nose, but I'm very human, so I still was like, maybe that was coincidence. Maybe it was too on the nose, right? As we do in our human selves. And it wasn't that long after that I was beginning to have conversations with my guides. And I remember one night I was lying in bed and I was like, all right, spirit guides, I want to connect to one of my angels. Angels, tell me your name. I want to know a name of my angel. And I remember in my head just hearing the name Angelo. And I was like, oh my God, angel, Angelo, angel, Angelo. Oh my God, I'm making this up. And I literally was like, oh God. All right, never mind. And I literally went to sleep. I was like, well, I'm making stuff up now. And the next day I went to a spiritual festival, and there was a stall holder there, and he was offering free card readings. Now, I was a teenager, I was in high school, I didn't have any money. So I was like, free card readings? Hell yes, get me over there. And so he pulls out a card for me and he goes, oh, you have a new angel working with you called Angelo. And I went, what? And I was like, that's a massive confirmation, right? That's the name that I got, that's the name that he got. So the reason why I share these with you is because the confirmation, the validation that creates trust takes time, right? Even after that, I was starting to think okay, well, probably start to trust a little bit more what I'm receiving, but we still need validation and it takes time. So one of the best things you can begin doing with your spiritual team is actually asking for signs. Hey, spiritual team, are you there with me? If you are, show me a sign, leave me a sign. And signs can be like super, they can be different, right? So for some people, it'll be a specific animal. For some people, it'll be a number. I've even known people who it's a type of car. For me, I don't necessarily say like, leave me this kind of sign. I leave it open. I'm like, just show me a sign. And the signs are usually like so intense that I'm like, oh my God, okay, that was very clearly a sign, right? I'll give you another example because I actually use this in my, I still ask my guides for signs, right? This isn't something that I've stopped. So I think it was about 2 weeks ago that I've done Kambo before, the frog medicine, and it came up in my field. I saw a girl talking about it online and I kind of said, maybe it's time for me to do it again. So I said, okay, spiritual team, if I'm supposed to do Kambo, like give me a sign, give me a clear sign that I'm supposed to do Kambo again. And the next day, my friend was flying up, visiting from Sydney, and we went out for dinner and I'm like, so what's going on in your life? She's like, well, I flew to Belgium and I did my Kambo practitioner training and I'm coming up and I'm doing a ceremony here. Do you want to come? And I said, wow, thank you. That's such a clear sign. I love it. So these clear kind of signs, there's still something that I use with, I work with, I ask for, even though I'm already talking with my guides, I still ask for signs. So my first thing for you is going to be ask for your signs, right? Because it can be fun and also a really beautiful way for you to see how playful the universe and guides can be and how much divine support there is for you, right? So I want to talk a little bit about your spiritual team because I do say spiritual team, universe, God, source, and I kind of want to elaborate a little bit on that. So I see universe as the totality of like all of there is, right? It's the space around us, the synchronicities, the connection that we have in the quantum. So we can be in tune with the universe, surrendered to the universe. And it's like we're saying we're surrendered to the divine flow, right? Of all of the things, the divine synchronicities of all of the things. And very much that, the universe conspires to support us, and we can work with the magic of all that there is around us to create beautiful, abundant, joyful lives. So I kind of see that as separate to then your spiritual team, right? And the way that I see or connect to your spiritual team is I do see that there is a bit of not a hierarchy in a way of these people or these guides are better than that, but a hierarchy in terms of spiritual evolution. So I believe that there is a source of love and light. Everything came from the source of love and light, right? Which is a creator, which is God. It's the energy that we all came from and where that creator source expressing itself, experiencing itself for evolution. And there's the out breath and eventually there'll be an in breath where we'll evolve back into that singular point, right? And then the out breath, the in breath. That's how I see the world, creator, and all of these things. And because we are connected, we are a part of that creator source, we carry that energy within us. That's our soul spark. It is divine. It is connected to the divine, right? We came from that divine spark. We are that divine spark. We are the creator expressing itself in this reality, in this realm, right? And we have these beautiful beings across many different dimensions, which are having their own journey, their own evolution, and many of them are also helping us in our evolutions, in our journey, in our soul purpose work. So you who is listening to this today, you have a higher self, right? You have a soul within you and you have a higher self. So your soul is something that's actually in you, right? It's that thing we see when you pass, it leaves your body, so on, but it's connected to you and it's within you. We then have your higher self. Your higher self is external, right? It is the closest, it's the next level up from your soul, right? So we have your higher self, which is the next level up. Your higher self is very important for you to work with because it's the next soul evolution. It knows everything about you, your soul, your journey, everything. Like your higher self your higher self's number one priority, right? Higher self is very important to work with and be in tune with and be living in alignment with. However, a lot of people don't realize they are already having conversations with their higher self. So in Channeling Spirit Academy, the first beings that we start to communicate and work with are the higher self. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, I didn't realize that that voice that I was hearing was actually my higher self. And if you've been in meditation, you know, maybe you've been doing silent meditation, and you might hear your ego or the lower mind coming in and saying, stop meditating, this isn't doing shit, go do the dishes, oh, remember you need to prepare this or clean the kitchen for tomorrow, right? That's the ego, lower mind coming in. And you might start to hear your higher self saying things like, hey, you know, you should take that course, or hey, you should offer this service, and give these little whispers almost, and they feel like they come from a higher place. The majority of time, this is your higher self, because your higher self is already connected to you, already has a channel to you, and you have a deep connection with your higher self. So higher self, very important for you to work with. And your higher self actually has different levels, right? Because when we think higher self, we're like, oh, there's one higher self, but actually there's a higher self of your higher self. And this is where we got to think about, you know, if the creator source is here and you and me here right now having this lived soul experience is here, well, there are certain evolutions through the dimensions, right? So you, me here in this reality, we've got our soul. The next level up is our higher self. But then we have another level. We have the oversoul, right? And it goes up in these layers. We have the monadic self, the soul group, right? All of these layers of our soul. And we have this soul family, which is, especially if you're a star seed, if you've got a big purpose here, your soul family is very, very important. And as your higher self evolves, it actually, so if we were to talk about your oversoul has two higher selves, right? That then go into one soul. And I know this can be a bit confusing, but it's the higher aspects of your soul, right? So then when we talk about your soul group, there are beings in there that you are connected with on a soul level, like your soulmates, but they're actually your soul family. And these are the beings that know you the best, love you the most, because it's like you are them, right? Oftentimes starseeds, when they first wake up and start having experiences and visitations, these are the beings, soul family, that they see and they connect to, and they might appear to them as Venusian, Olarian, Osirian, right? So it's these soulmates that working with them on a soul level, and they feel like home, right? They're deeply invested in you, because what usually happens, there's this soul group of 12, right? And you're one of them, right? And what will usually happen is out of those 12, they'll look at the different souls and go, who's evolving the most? Who's doing the best job of soul evolution? And they'll begin to be focused on that soul, because as you evolve, they all evolve. As one of them evolves, you evolve, right? So you're all working together to evolve. So they are very focused on your spiritual evolution, your spiritual journey. They will be with you from the day you were born till the day you die. It's very important that you're connected with your soul group, because they're literally like your family. If you think about your family in this life and how much you love them, how grateful you are, doesn't even compare to your soul family, who you have known for thousands, some of you millions of years, who have been in various incarnations with you, who know you at a deep level. They love you so, so much. And you do to them. And that's why oftentimes when we have these experiences, they can be so emotionally overwhelming, because we're remembering, wow, I have so much love and you love me so much. And I forgot about that, you know, and this amnesia that we have often in this human experience. So you've got your beautiful soul family that loves you, is supporting you, is there with you. And you can start saying, you know, I want to work with my soul family some more. Who's my soul family? Where do they originate from? Where do they come from? Especially if you're a starseed, they're big. We've got your higher self, and then we also have your angels. So everybody has angels working with them. Some people, maybe they only have one or two, right? They're guardian angels. But every single person has an angel. When we think of the kingdoms, we have the human kingdom, we have the nature kingdom, and we also have the angelic kingdom. So when we look at the nature kingdom, we're talking about the plants, the trees, all these, even the elementals that are working with them. They're part of this kingdom. And then we also have the angelic kingdom, which is made up of seraphim, cherubs, different types of angels, right? Because there are different hierarchies of angels. And every single person has a guardian angel who has been assigned to them to work with them, to look after them. Now, the way they work with you is usually through protection, guidance, and loving support. They are deeply loving. They look after you, they support you, and it's such a beautiful experience to call in your angel, sit with your angel, and feel your angel there with you. Now, you might have 1, 2, or even more. And I have seen people who are very connected to the angelic realms, and they will have all different types of angels working with them. And I'll see archangels on their team as well. They might be working with Archangel Raphael or Michael. So we can have all these different beings working with us. When we talk about spiritual teams, we're not talking about like, oh, you have 5 people on your spiritual team. No, like people can literally have 100 on their spiritual team, right? When you think about it, like you've got your soul family, your higher self, all these angels, and that's only a few of them. There's still a lot of different guides I want to talk to you about. So you are actually so divinely supported and held by so many beings. Then what we have is these kind of general guides, right? So general guides, they can come in for a variety of different reasons. They can come in at different times of your life. Some of them will be with you from when you're born to when you die. Some of them will come in for a season when you need help with something. Let's say you're going through a massive transition in your life and they're like, great, you need to clear certain relationships, certain situations. You might have Kali come in, and help you clear everything. So we can have guides come in for various different reasons or for our entire life. And it really depends on what we're here to do and how we're here to express ourselves. And these guides, they might be well known. So for example, someone I work very closely with is Goddess Isis. I've worked with her for many years. I have a deep relationship with her. We've channeled together modality, Isis Ka together. And I have a very good relationship with her. And she is a well-known guide, right? However, there are also guides in my team that aren't well known, that people don't know about, that maybe they're only working with a couple of other humans. They're guides that are more specific to me, right? So you can have guides that are well known and guides that are also not well known. I've met, because I've channeled for thousands of people and met thousands of people's spiritual teams, there's been guides that I haven't even been able to pronounce their name in the human language. So that's also been very interesting to me. These guides, you might have a lot of. If you are focused on your soul purpose, helping humanity, you have more guides, right? You will have more guides because you're being of service, and guides will often come in and be like, great, how can I help? How can I contribute? Because I can see that you're impacting humanity. I want to do more. And guides are also, the majority of guides are not generalists, they're specialists. So what I mean by that, don't think of your guides like GPs, think of them like specialists, right? You're not going to go to a neurologist for gut issues, right? Or you're not going to go to a heart surgeon for foot issues. That's kind of what I want you to think about guides. So let's say you have a guide who has been contracted and agreed to work with you on, let's say, manifesting your soulmate, right? Calling in your soulmate. They're like focused on preparing you, healing what needs to be healed, and bringing in your soulmate into your life so you can have that relationship. If I connect to that guide on your behalf, or you connect to that guide, and I ask that guide, okay, so how can this person call in more abundance into their life? They're going to be like, focus on manifesting the soulmate partner because it's going to bring everything in, right? Because that's what they're focused on. They're probably not going to be able to help you. So when I connect to someone's spiritual team, depending on what questions they have, I'm focused on that. So for example, I might go, okay, well, my client wants to know about abundance and creating more abundance in their life. How can which guide is helping them with that, right? And then the guide steps forward. I'm like, great, so let's talk about abundance. Now she wants to talk about manifesting a soulmate. Which guide is helping her with that? So we actually ask who's supporting with what, and you'll have different guides step forward. So they're not generalists. There might be one or two that are like kind of general all areas, but the majority of your guides are going to be specializing in very specific things and subjects, which is why it's important when you connect in and you have a specific question that you're asking and connecting to the right guide as well. So one of the important things to know about working with your guides, because you have this beautiful spiritual team which is supporting you with all of these things, is that they follow the law of free will, meaning you have to request for help. They can only interfere so much until you give them permission to interfere, right? So one of the big things you actually need to be doing is saying, spirit guides, angels, ancestors, higher self, I request for your help. I request your assistance. I ask for help with, and say what you want help with. I request clarity on, and ask for what it is that you need help with, what you're needing clarity with. You need to ask for them to actually show up and help you. And I didn't mention it before, but you've also got your ancestors working with you. So your ancestors are your lineage, and not all of your ancestors are going to come in and work with you, right? Just because someone passes in your family doesn't mean they're automatically going to come in and work with you. There will be specific people from your lineage, whether it's your mother's, your father's lineage, who come through and connect with you and work with you, right? Not all of them, but definitely some. And ancestors are they can be very focused on healing and on protection. Ancestors, not necessarily so much for guidance. I really focus on the specific guides that have been contracted for specific things, for guidance, for clarity. But it is important to have a connection with your ancestors, feel them there and work with them, especially if you're thinking or desiring to have children, because your children choose you, right? Your spirit babies choose you. And they can, just because they choose you, it doesn't mean you have to bring them through. So I'll give you an example. I was 16 and I was having a reading with a woman, because I was into all the spiritual stuff. So I had readings quite young, and I was getting a reading with a psychic, and she was saying to me, "Oh, you've got a little spirit baby coming in around you." And I was like, "Well, I don't want him. I'm 16. I don't want to be a teen mom. Thank you very much." She's like, "No worries. He's going to go into someone close to you because he wants to be around you." And I was like, "Yep, okay, great. But I'm a big no. I'm not falling pregnant." And it was a couple of months later, my then boyfriend's mum fell pregnant. And it was a big surprise. None of us were expecting it. And she had a beautiful little boy who I was pretty close to for a little while there. So spirit babies choose their parents, right? So whether you want to have children or don't, they might choose you. You're not obligated to have them just because you're like, "Oh, well, spirit babies chose me, better bring them through." No, they'll choose you because they like you, they resonate with you. They're like, yes, this parent is going to give me the perfect set of skills, experiences that I need for my soul purpose and experience that I want to have in this human life. But you have absolute free will to say, "No, I don't want to have a baby," or "No, I don't want to," right? But they might still be in your field. They might choose you. And oftentimes I'll see spirit babies with ancestors. So they'll be working while they're waiting for you, because they might choose you quite young when you're not ready. And they might stick around in your spiritual team for many years waiting for you to bring them through. And when they're on your spiritual team, they're often working and sitting with your ancestors as well. So that's something to know about as well. When it comes to my spiritual team, I work with my guides pretty much every single area in my life. Every day, if I've got a question, if I need clarity, I'm asking my guides. When it comes to my business, everything that I offer, market, teach, share, it's all connected through guides. It was my guides who came through and said, "Right, you're going to do Light Leaders Ascension School. This is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to set it up." And I followed the guidance. Every part of my business is like that, right? You guys know I have the Isis Ka modality. That was channeled. Goddess Isis came to me and she said, "Right, you're going to share this. This is how you're going to do it." And we channeled this entire modality together. And it's not just what I teach, it's also how I teach, it's how I market, it's everything. Everything is channeled and worked with my spirit guides. How my relationship with my husband came to be was because of my guides too. When we first met, I didn't see him as a potential romantic partner, neither did he to me. And we had met at one of my events, and he messaged me a couple of weeks later and was like, hey, I just watched one of your videos about a topic that he was interested in. He's like, I'd love to catch up over coffee and talk more about this topic. I was getting a lot of messages of people wanting to meet up for coffee to kind of pick my brain, and I didn't have capacity to it. So I politely declined. And that night, my guides came to me and they said, Athena, you have to go meet up with him tomorrow. I said, oh my God, okay, all right. So I said, okay, great. You know what? Let's do coffee tomorrow. It was like, great. We went, we sat, we talked, and it was like an instant click. And we've been together ever since. But if I hadn't received that guidance from my spirit guides, well, it would have been a lot harder. Like, I truly believe I would have ended up with him anyway, but it might have been like, well, she's not getting our guidance. So you know what? We're going to send her to that event, and we'll send him to that event, and maybe then they'll get it. And if they don't, then you know what? We'll have to arrange this and set this up. And it's just a lot of time can pass, a lot of energy being spent. And I often think of channeling as like fast tracking, right? Fast tracking to live the life that was meant for me. I didn't have to kind of fluff around and figure it out. I was just, oh, okay, this is my soulmate, great. And I got to spend that time with him. And it's the same with my business. I achieved a lot of success at a very young age. And it's not because I networked with the right people. It's not because I'm amazing at marketing. What it actually came down to is my ability to be spirit-led. Because when we talk about working with your guides, that's like a very small part of it. Well, working with your guides requires channeling, being able to actually talk and communicate with them. And channeling is not just a tool to, let me get clear on my soul purpose. Let me know which direction I could take. It's actually a way of life. And the way that I'd like to describe it is it's being spirit-led, and spirit-led in all things, right? So it means that I'm following the divine guidance in all areas of my life. That doesn't mean I don't have free will. I have absolute free will, but I also know that when my higher self and my spiritual team says, hey, Athena, like you need to do this or follow this path, that what's on the other side is more joy, more abundance, more impact. It's all good. So there's no part of me that would be resistant to following their guidance because I know it is for my highest good. So being spirit-led is not just channeling every day or checking with my guides or calling them for help. It's actually like letting my life be a co-creation with the divine, receiving and following the guidance in every area of my life, from my friendships to my marriage to my business to my abundance. All of it is a co-creation with the divine. And that's what I believe being spirit-led is. And what being spirit-led, it's a fast track, right? It's a fast track to having the life that you were meant to live, because spirit's just like, let's get her where she needs to be, doing what she came here to do. And there's no need for this fluffing around. So when I say, channeling your spirit guides is the most important skill that you can have, it's not just so you can sit down and meditate and ask questions about your life and what you need to do. It's so that you can create a spirit-led life. For many of you, a spirit-led business, because that's ultimately how you're going to create the most impact, the most joy, the most abundance. All of it comes when you are living a spirit-led life, right? Which is why, like in my business, I'm spirit-led, soul-aligned. Because if you're not those two, I don't know what you're doing. If you're a light worker and you're starseed and you're not spirit-led and soul-aligned, well, gosh, life is probably going to feel and be pretty hard for you, right? So we want to be spirit-led. We want to be soul-aligned. And being spirit-led, yes, it requires a lot of trust and surrender. When spirit says to me, jump, I jump, right? I remember I was teaching Reiki at the start of 2020, like January 2020, I was teaching Reiki. Loved it. Been teaching it for years. Love doing in-person workshops. Spirit said to me at a Reiki workshop in January, okay, Athena, you're going to go all online now. I went, why would I go all online? But I said, okay, because I know when Spirit says jump, you jump. A few months later, we were in lockdown and I was like, well, shit, thank you. So I have learned over years and years that when Spirit says jump, I jump, right? When Spirit gives me guidance, I follow it, because then I'm always protected. I'm always taken care of it, and everything unfolds perfectly. So it does require a lot of surrender and trust. That surrender and trust, it comes from quite a long time of validation and confirmation. It's not something instantaneous that happens. It's a relationship, and a relationship that I've worked on for many years and built up, right? So if you're currently in a place where you might receive a download or receive guidance and you're questioning and you're not sure and you're like, oh, I don't know, that's okay. When you receive a download, you can ask, hey, Spirit, show me a sign that I'm understanding correctly. Spirit, show me a sign that I'm supposed to go this way. Get that confirmation, get that validation, because then everything can open up so much easier. So when we work with our spirit guides, when we are working with them, it's actually opening up the door for us to channel and then become spirit-led. And that's the end goal. Not just work with spirit, but become spirit-led. Because when we're spirit-led, we're in divine co-creation, right? And we're living the life that is meant for us. Honestly, that's what when people ask me, well, what's the key to your success? Being spirit-led. That's it. Learn to channel. That's it. That's the thing I'm all about. That's the thing that I recommend the most. And it's also a journey. I know that. So let's talk a little bit about how you can start working with your spirit guides on a day-to-day basis, right? Now, obviously, I channel my guides all the time, every day, throughout the day. I'm downloads, conversations with them. I know the majority of you aren't going to be at that level yet. That's okay. You will have the skills. Everybody has the ability to do that, right? It's innate, it's in us, but I understand that you might not be there yet. But what we want to start is we want to start having the conversations and opening up the relationship. So I would love for you, you know, whether it's at the start of your day, at the end of your day, for you to say, I call in now my spirit guides, my angels, my ancestors, my higher self, my entire spiritual team who loves me unconditionally and is serving the light only to be here with me right now. Call them in. And you can do this meditation, you can feel them coming in, or you can just know that they're there. And then I want you to have conversations with them. Say, I give you permission to help me become more soul aligned. I ask for help to create a soul aligned life, to manifest whatever it is you want. Have the conversations with them, right? Now, I do want to preface this by saying spiritual guides are not your genies, right? It's not like, ooh, my spirit guides are going to give me 3 wishes. Yay! You know, get to wish. Your spirit guides will help you create the life that is meant for you, and they will support you in what you need, not what you want. Now, the end goal is that we're so soul aligned that what we want is actually what we need, right? What is actually aligned for us. But for a lot of people, what they want is not actually what they need. Someone might be saying, well, what I want is abundance, and I want financial stability, and, you know, because that's where they're feeling the scarcity. But what they actually need is to create a full soul aligned business, right? So spirit will help give you what you need, not necessarily what you want. And always it'll turn out, oh, well, this is what I wanted all along anyway. I was just seeing it from a different lens. And yes, they can help you manifest abundance and all of these beautiful things if it aligns with your soul path, if it's in alignment with it, right? They're not just going to help you create something that's not in alignment or doesn't add to your soul purpose path, because that's their number one priority. And sometimes, you know, people think, oh, spirit guides, yay, we love you, Athena. Oh, we're so proud of you. Take this journey. It's not always like that. Yes, there are some guides, especially angelic guides, who are, you know, very fluffy and warm and nice. And then I also have spirit guides who are like, right, Athena, you need to stop messing around with this. You're not in alignment here. We need to call you up on it. You need to get yourself together and you need to go on this path. Now, it's always loving. There's always a resonance and an understanding of, I still feel like the deep unconditional love, but sometimes get a little beating from your guides when you've been like, we're human, right? Sometimes we go off path, we focus on the wrong thing. Our guides call us out on it and go, hey, come on, what are you doing here? This isn't meant for you. This is not what you're meant to be doing. You're meant to be here on this path. Come on. And sometimes they can be quite stern about it, right? Because they're just focused on getting the medicine to us. And sometimes it's, be nice if they were a little sweeter and fluffier to make the medicine go down easier. But honestly, they just want you to be in your highest soul path, your highest timeline, doing what you came here to do. And they're going to support you getting there, which means also calling you out and pointing out when you're doing something that's not in alignment with that anymore. It's not always just like fluff and love and warmth. Well, it's always love, but sometimes there are stern words that do get exchanged to make sure that you are on the path that you need to be on, because they do love you so deeply. They want the highest, best for you. And that kind of love, it also means calling out when you're not in soul alignment, when you're not living in your truth, right? When maybe we're telling ourselves story or we're operating from the ego. There is a calling out that can happen. So as you're moving through your day and you're calling in your team and you're saying, show me a sign. When you get those downloads, you can say, show me a sign, show me I'm ready. And just start to have the conversations, because working with our spiritual team, it's a two-sided conversation, right? And it requires you to open up. So for you, before bed, you might be like, all right, guys, this is what I'm dealing with at the moment. I really need support. I really need help. Please help guide me. Please show me the way. I'm ready to see what I'm meant to do here. I'm ready to be led. Please let it land through. And you can choose to meditate, see if you receive something, or you follow the breadcrumbs. You look for those signs. You look for the synchronicities. You ask for signs. Show me a clear sign of what I'm here to do. I'm ready. And you will be led. You will be guided. That is a non-negotiable. When you ask for help, you will be guided. Now, it might not come exactly the way you want it to or expect it to, but it will come the way you need it to, for your highest best, always. You are so deeply, divinely supported. Your spiritual team loves you so much, and they're here to support you and help you on your journey to do what it is that you came here to do. You're representing them on earth, right? You are the divine spark that is incarnated, a representative of the families of light, here to create change, here to help humanity. Now, obviously, life gets easier the better your channeling abilities get. And then obviously, when you're able to have those conversations with your team, it does open up things a lot more. If that's something that you're wanting to do, I do have my program, Channeling Spirit Academy, where I teach you that how to talk with your guides, exactly how I do, how to trans-channel, light language, working with all the spiritual realms and all the guides who are there with us, including land spirits and nature spirits and everyone on your spiritual team. So there'll be a link for that down below if you're interested, or you can go to channelingspiritacademy.com. And I'm really excited and looking forward for you to actually begin working with your spirit team, to feeling them there with you, working with them, connecting with them, asking them for help. So thank you so much, beautiful souls, for being here with me in this episode today. Thank you. Blessings. Lots of love and light.